Welcome back to another episode of Fernandez Finds Adventure. In today's episode, I have to start with an apology. I thought we were going to be doing the wiring today, like I said in my last video. However, it's not going to happen. I need to get the floor and the headboard sorted first before I can get my measurements for the wiring, and then we'll be able to do the wiring in the next episode. So the plan for today is to get the new floor in for the Navara and also put the headboard in as well. And I might be able to mount some things like the solar controller before we finish today as well. So we'll see how we go. It's probably going to take me a couple of days. For you guys, it'll be the one video. So if you see a couple of changes happening, like my shirt and things like that, then you know what happened. But yeah, that's kind of where we're up to. Hopefully be able to mount the battery as well, but we'll see how we go and we'll see what happens. So at this point, you've joined me at measuring up some of the wood that I need. I actually have a few pieces of timber lying around. I don't actually think I need to go and get anything from Bunnings to actually make this, because I think I've got all the scrap wood I need lying around here. I will go through the measurements for you guys as well later on, but for now I'm just trying to get everything sorted and I'm just trying to get that floor made up, and there's going to be a few different pieces which I'll talk you guys through as well as to how I'm actually going to make a big floorboard and floorboards, a big floor in total, how I'm going to make that even though the opening for the cabin is small. The first thing I did today was put together the first half of the base for the rear fit out. I then cut the marine carpet to size for the headboard. When I was installing the base of the rear setup, I assembled half of it outside of the truck, and then I installed the last 400mm of it separately, so it would fit in easier. A support was also fitted behind the passenger seat, as this side will have the fridge on it and will support most of the weight of the setup, including the lithium battery. The headboard had holes drilled into it, so I can install it using the factory mounting points and bolts. Once the base was done, it was time to carpet it. The marine carpet was glued using liquid nails, with extra glue being applied to the middle section behind the driver's seat, as there won't be any screws going into this section, so the carpet will have more chance of lifting here. A hole was drilled into the back panel so the solar panel cables can connect to the solar controller. To make this as safe as possible, I used a 9.5mm bung which had silicone sealant around the outside of it to prevent any water sitting behind the bung seal and rusting the panel. I used some clear coat spray to protect the exposed metal after drilling. Extra silicone was used on the inside of the cabin to make an air and watertight seal with the cable coming through from the outside. The end of the solar cables needed to be tinned to be put into the solar controller for extra strength. The positive wire was fused with a 30 amp fuse and was then connected to the solar controller. I then soldered the wires to connect the battery to the solar controller. Only one side of the wires needed to be tinned to be put into the solar controller, as the other end was crimped onto battery terminal connectors. The positive wire was again fused with 30 amp fuse. With the wiring for the day sorted, I turned my attention to the lithium battery and hooking it up to my new battery box. If you're interested, I did get this battery box from Autobarn, as it was one of the only places around my area that had it in stock. Marine carpet was used to fill the empty space around the box to prevent it from sliding around and making noise. I ended up replacing the wood screws for less sharp Phillips head bolts to keep the wires free from sharp objects. Finally, I heat shrunk the exposed wires at the solar controller as they could cause a short. I gave the carpet a final clean before calling it a day. So we're able to get the base and the headboard done, and we were able to use a marine carpet on here as well. I'll go into all the full details later on in our full walk around video, but for now, let's just keep it nice and simple. So we're able to do that and that today. We were also able to get the battery box up and running, and it's also showing a voltage there. As you can see, we've got the wiring all run through the back here. I will show you guys that later as well. Everything is just hand tied at the moment. We've got the solar controller is working. It's taking charge from the solar panel, which I've got just running up the side there, going to the solar panel. Everything seems to be holding pretty well. The glue hasn't stuck as well as I would have liked, but that's okay. It'll still do the job for today's purpose and for what we need to do in the future as well on this. Now, you're probably wondering, why did I choose to choose to position rather the battery box here? So my thinking is that the fridge is going to go here, and that's going to be opened out towards that door there, which will give me a bit of room here for possibly a cargo box, I'm thinking. So like I said, I want to keep this space here for working, nice and free for working, for having Ginger sitting here during the day, and just maybe a nice little spot for her to sleep as well. That would be nice too. And I'm thinking that here would be a great spot just to keep some gear, some recovery gear as well would be good. So everything will all be in the one area. So that kind of covers everything that I wanted to talk about. I might show you guys quickly before we go. I'll just show you the wiring and how that looks in the back here. I'm not finished all the wiring yet. Obviously, I need to do things like secure the battery box. So that's going to be in tomorrow's video as well. And I will also be getting a fridge as well and be wiring all that in as well. So let me just move over here and get this. So it's a long and hot day today, guys, but we got a lot done and I'm very happy with how far we got. All right, so I'll show you in the back here. Hopefully you can see. But in the back here, we've got all our fuses there, and our bung worked out pretty well. And that's watertight there with silicone also. And we've got just our basic lines running to our battery box with the fuse there as well. No red lights on the fuse, so those fuses do have red lights on them if they do have an issue, and if the fuse is below, they will give me a red light, and that already happened once because I forgot to put a fuse in the actual fuse holder. So apart from that, guys, that's pretty much it. The battery is in place. Tomorrow I'll secure the battery box, and yeah, and then try and tidy things up a little bit. It'll just be a matter of just putting all the thread locker on all the bolts, and you know, making sure that there's conduit around all of the wires, and just positioning everything for the final position. That's going to be it, really. So, and then the fridge, and that will be it. So that will probably be another episode altogether, and I'll try and get it all done in just one episode as well for you guys. And then after that, it will be a walk around of kind of the Navara 2.0. So far, I'm very happy with how it's all turned out. Everything was pretty easy to install. I've just tried to make sure I'm taking my time and doing everything right the first time, so it's you know, it will last a long time. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in our next video.